Hello, and welcome to our guide for the most popular caster build in the Dawn of the Hunt League. The Essence Drain is an iconic spell that defines an entire chaos damage over time archetype. It involves a two-part combo and totems to supplement single target damage. The Essence Drain is a projectile spell that applies a debuff on enemies it hits, dealing chaos damage over its duration. The second part of the combo is the Contagion spell, which applies a very weak damage over time effect that spreads to other enemies once your main target dies, carrying over all other chaos damage effects and refreshing their duration. This combo is excellent for clearing masses of monsters, but is not that great against powerful enemies. For more dangerous fights, you will need another synergistic ability, called Dark Effigy. It is a totem that fires chaos projectiles at all nearby enemies affected by any type of chaos damage over time effect, firing more projectiles for each unique type of debuff. By adding poison and decaying hex, you will double its damage. The Lich is a very powerful and universal ascendancy. It has a strict but unique way of providing defense. With the Eternal Life notable, any damage that bypasses your energy shield is discarded. As you invest heavily into energy shield, the Eldritch Empowerment is free to take, granting you a massive 30% more damage bonus. During your gameplay, you will use the Essence Drain and Contagion to devastate large packs of monsters. For tougher enemies, you should summon 2 Dark Effigy totems, empower them with the Sigil of Power, and cast the Despair Curse to lower the chaos resistance and apply the 4th damage over time effect. The build is almost immortal. You will have a massive amount of energy shield and discard 25% of the incoming damage that bypasses it. However, to recover energy shield you need to avoid taking damage for a few seconds, or use the Convalescence skill, which has a quite long cooldown. The clear speed is good and extremely satisfying, but keep in mind it's a 2-part combo that lacks upfront damage. The damage against bosses is decent. The effigy totems are necessary only against bosses or chaos-resistant rare enemies. The build is very affordable. You can very easily get started with just basic rare items and upgrade them over time as you get more currency. There is only one mandatory unique item for this build, and it is very cheap. There are a few others that could be usable too, but in most cases a proper rare item will be much better. The Atziri's Disdain is a mandatory unique helmet for nearly every Lich. The damage bypass works as a damage reduction, and it also grants plenty of energy shields sourced from your maximum life. You can temporarily equip the Visage of Aya to gain the Eldritch Battery Keystone, which removes your energy shield and allows you to change your current life amount. Use it to gain the low life status, granting you a minor cast speed bonus. The Dodra's Tenure provides a massive boost for your chaos damage, but also a severe penalty for your cast speed. It's a great boost for your damage at lower budgets, but you will want to replace it with a more defensive option later on. The scaling options for your damage are quite limited. You will need increases to your chaos or spell damage, additional chaos, spell, or projectile skill gem levels, and cast speed. A bit of mana regeneration is also recommended for comfort. For defense, you will simply need to cap your resistance and get as much energy shield as possible. On your wand, you will need additional gem levels, increases to spell or chaos damage, and cast speed. You can use Greater Essence of Ruin on a magic wand with +5 skill levels to guarantee the chaos damage modifier. On the rare focus, you should prioritize gem levels, increases to your spell damage, and cast speed, but a bit of energy shield or resistance can be found here too. The rings should provide you with tons of chaos and elemental resistance. You will also need a bit of mana regeneration rate and cast speed. Lastly, you can get some increases for chaos damage, but they are not very potent here. The amulet is the final gear piece where you can obtain additional gem levels. It should also boost your energy shield, grant lacking resistance or attributes, or possibly raise your spirit. The rare body armor is your main source of all your energy shield, far overperforming any other source. The base implicit is also useful. You can get better mana regeneration rate or improve the energy shield recharge. On the rare gloves, you will need high energy shield and chaos or elemental resistances. You might also need some attributes. Additional life or mana can also be useful, but only if it doesn't affect the price too much. The boots should grant you a decent amount of energy shield, but having 35% increased movement speed is the most important modifier here. They can also reduce the duration of chill, freeze, or shock on you. On a rare belt, your options are limited only to chaos and elemental resistances. Flask, stun, or charms modifiers are useful on top of that, but they are not mandatory. You will need one emerald jewel with a chance to poison on hit. The dark effigy hits very often, so even a small chance is sufficient. The rest of jewels should grant energy shield, spell, or chaos damage, and increase the effectiveness of Wither. Essence Drain is your main skill to clear weaker enemies. It applies a potent damaging debuff on any opponent it hits. The chain is mandatory for comfortable gameplay, but thankfully its damage penalty applies only to the hit portion of the Essence Drain. You can replace Zenith with Derange if you can't fulfill its conditional requirements. Contagion spreads all other chaos debuffs when the main target dies. Its own damage is very low, so you can keep it on a low level to lower the mana costs. The Unleash support automatically targets nearby enemies, making it easier to start the proliferation. The Chaotic Freeze allows you to inflict freeze on bosses, although the build-up is very long. The Dark Effigy is your main source of damage against bosses. This totem fires chaos projectiles for each unique type of chaos debuff applied to an enemy. The Overabundance allows you to summon 2 totems at once, but makes their duration rather short. The Envenom support can be used to apply poison, but it should be sourced from a rare jewel later on. Despair is an offensive curse that lowers the chaos resistance of your enemies. Use the second weapon set to boost its effectiveness. The Decaying Hex support deals minimal amount of damage on its own, but it provides extra projectiles for your totems. The Cursed Ground activates faster and lasts longer than regular curse, but some enemies tend to run out of it during fights, so you have to recast it more often. The Blasphemy applies linked curse to all nearby enemies without a delay. Each individual curse reserves a large amount of spirit. The Temporal Chain is a great defensive curse that also makes all your damaging effects last longer. The Ritualistic Curse greatly increases its range, and the penalty doesn't apply to Blasphemy anyway. Withering Presence automatically applies the Wither debuff to nearby enemies, increasing the chaos damage they take. The Persistence is important to keep the maximum amount of stacks on your enemies. If you have extra spirit to spare, use the Clarity support to get extra mana regen, but it's not required. Convalescence grants you a skill with a short cooldown that triggers your energy shield recharge until you fully recover it. Use it on a second weapon set to save spirit. This skill has a quite long cooldown, so the ingenuity is very useful here. The second wind can also be used here depending on your playstyle. Blink replace your dodge roll with a teleport with a short cooldown. Use it on the second weapon set to save spirit, and use it on demand by swapping weapons. The second wind allows you to blink twice in rapid succession. The longer cooldown penalty is not a problem here, as you will use blink only in special occasions. Use the Visage of Aya Helmet to temporarily get the Eldritch Battery Keystone to remove all your energy shield. You can then use any channeling spell to spend life to enter the low life status. You will need the life tap support to pay the costs with your life. You can use other support gems to raise the costs, but it is a very quick process. During the leveling, the extra flask effectiveness from the Valley of Titans questline will be more useful, but as you enter the endgame, the charms are much more valuable. The normal Venom Crypt quest can improve your stun or ailment threshold. Both options are very useful, but the stuns are generally more common. As for the Cruel Venom Crypt quest reward, you should pick the Chaos Resistance bonus. It has the most value out of all possibilities there. The Essence Drain is a very good skill even during the campaign. The Energy Shield as your main defense is not a good idea during the campaign, as it requires plenty of good gear and investments to be reliable. Instead, you should focus on maximum life, capping resistance, and investing passive points into damage. On the final passive tree, you will want to pick nearly every chaos-related notable possible. It will grant you plenty of increased damage, additional skill level, improve the effect of the Wither debuff, or even grant extra chaos damage for your Dark Effigy. There are also tons of bonuses for Energy Shield to take. You need to increase its maximum amount, but also speed up the start and rate of recharge. Additional stun and ailment threshold is also mandatory for comfortable gameplay. On that note, the mana regeneration is also important. If you can't get it on your gear, there are plenty of notables you can pick on the passive tree instead. The Ascendancy notables are quite straightforward, but for maximum single target damage, you should pick the Necromantic Conduit instead of the Phylactery with extra jewel. With the weapon set system, you can spend 24 points on utility without losing damage. You should allocate the damage notables to your first weapon set, and boost the effectiveness of your curses on the second weapon set. Remember to pick up the Whispers of Doom keystone to use 2 curses at the same time. And that covers today's guide. We hope you find it fun and informative. If you want to see more of our work, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching and have a great day.